questions if anybody has any questions. Is that cool? Ajax stuff? So yeah, it's free to use, and I was just looking for the mic. Do we have a mic? No, they do.
Could you demonstrate using CSS markup with the Java Studio Creator?
Sure.
For example, you've got a label you want to map to a CSS class.
Yeah, so there was quite a lot I didn't show. Let me see. So here, basically the properties window gives you everything you need for the components and so on. You have the CSS style, so you can manage the CSS for per component basis, or you can use the classes, so you can use, basically something you define.
Okay.
You can. This demonstration doesn't have any in there, but I'll show you the style dialog box. Just trying to. Oh, there we go. There's the style class. There's an example of a style class. So that gives you a list of the classes you can apply to your style. Oh, there we go. So that's the style itself. So you can change everything about the style of that component, the color of the image, all that in a graphical way as well. And it's quite powerful. There's been some updates to Creator since the release, and one of the updates was with regards to the positioning. So if you're going to install the CDs that we've given out today, go to the update center and it will show you all the hot fixes, null fixes, and things like that you want to install. But that's the CSS. I was just trying to think if there was. Yeah, there we go, you can edit the CSS as well. So there's some examples on, if you go to Developpers.com and sign up for free to the Developer Network, there's lots of examples that use CSS and lots of examples in Creator that'll take you through sort of the steps. You can even import CSS and import HTML and use that within Creator. So if you've got a project already you've written and created, then you can use that. Okay. Well,
two questions. First one's about, do you have reference implementation in production large scale, like 5,000 customers? First question. And in fact, you did provide modification of some way of improvement using GSF at this 1.0 and 1. The second one is, during your presentation, you have started to talk about the benefits of SWT and an evolution that could bring GSF and be closer to SWT. Are you considering that even time that application developer will write GUI all the time in GSF-like ways, and be able either to render with a run kit or execute within SWT. So not to build a run kit for SWT, but eventually reuse the UI, GSF UI, into SWT.
When you refer to SWT, you mean the swing stuff? Swing stuff, okay. Okay, the first part of your question, we do have references. We do have references. I don't know off the top of my head to be able to give it to you. If you'd like to give me your email address or a business card, I'll make sure you get a copy of those. We do have quite a few references, and we're always looking for more. And it's one of my jobs is to work with partners to help them do this stuff, and then they can help us by referencing their solution if they've been successful. And so we do have quite a few. Alexi, do you know any off the top of your head? Creator?
So we have a few customers. They're not 5,000 current users of references that I know of, but we have very large customers, including in France, that have developed over 10 applications with Creator that are all in production today. Well, it uses GSF.
Yeah, Creator uses GSF.
So, okay, I thought the question was Creator related, but it's also interesting. But we have other people that take GSF as a framework, not only using the tool, and it's probably a longer cycle. The things that are in production I was referring to are more smaller projects with maybe dozens of concurrent users, but not even 100, and then they develop in a few months. So we're probably waiting still for the big GSF ones.
Creator is just a tool. I mean, it's the JSF and the struts frameworks, behind it, and they're both pretty proven technologies. I mean, if you're talking specifically about JSF references, we can definitely get some JSF references too. So the second part of your question was, do we think that we should go down the JSF route of generating render kits, or should we still create fat clients? I think fat or rich clients. Right, yeah, I think that's one way of doing it. But I think Swing provides richer features and functionality right now. I mean, everybody's going Web 2.0, right? They really want everything to move to the web. And once you've got that web framework and web page running, you can generate your mobile client things. You can generate, every render kit type possibilities. But I think if you're really looking for a very rich desktop application that's very performant, I would go down the Swing route.
I would also add that there are several ways to achieve that unification of the way you describe a UI, and that would be maybe in some XML type of format, and the various deployment technologies such as Swing, GSF, and others. The first one is a component is a component, and it has properties. It may have validators that applies to both GSF and Swing. It may have a few other things, and this is quite easy to unify, and I think work is in progress for that. Then there's the event handling. If we're just sticking to the Java world, well, events are coded in Java. In other technologies, they could be coded using other scripting languages, for example. And then there's also the data binding stuff. If you want to bind data, that's also probably something that's very similar, whether you're doing web or Swing, rich type of applications. And actually, I don't know if you mentioned that because I went out of the room. Did you mention the data providers in Studio Creator, the API?
Yeah, so I mentioned them. You want to mention
Well, just quickly, so there's an API to abstract the data storage, whether it's a database, a web service, an EJB. You'll have the same experience with the table component, for example, or for that matter, any component. And that's because there's this higher level API about managing data. And this one has been brought to the JSR that deals with data binding, which Oracle is leading, and will probably, some of it at least, make its way into the JSR when it's finalized. And that's an important part. And this is probably when you will see data binding, the same way you see it in Creator, make its way into Swing, into NetBeans and Matisse.
Yeah, there's so much more to Creator than I've shown you. I just wanted to give you a feeling for web frameworks and what you can do with the tools and so on right now. But I mean, there's just so much when you talk about data providers. I think there was somebody who gave a question about performance as well. You know, by default, most of these providers provide transactional connections. So you know, you can do the whole transaction thing with EJBs, with web services, with whatever. And you know, there's lots of performance tuning you can do with it and things like that. So there's lots and lots to look at. We're constantly updating the tutorials page, the articles page, the blogs, the podcasts, etc. If you go to blogs.sun.com or developers.sun.com, they're the two main resources. Do you have a question?
Yes, you mentioned Ajax, and Ajax relies somehow on JavaScript. Is there any compatibility issue, browser issue about JavaScript? So, what I mean, the question, where Ajax seems like to have many nice feature, but what is the purpose of still maintaining on relying on JavaScript? Especially, it's really painful to maintain the compatibility between browser, within a single browser, and between several browsers.
So the JavaScript story's got a lot better, as I mentioned, in the past number of years, which is why Ajax has really become popular now, because it's pretty stable across the browsers. You can almost rely on most browsers, modern browsers, that is, the latest ones, to handle JavaScript correctly. There are a few...
What are the modern browser? Which version?
Well, I would consider Firefox 1.5, Internet Explorer 9. There's a joke. You know, the latest Netscape, what is it, 8? Safari, I don't know version numbers of Safari, but I'm sure there's a recent one. But that's what I would consider a regular browser, a modern browser. So, you know, there are toolkits that you can use, JavaScript toolkits, which actually is how some of these things in Creator were created. For example, you may know the Dojo toolkit, which is quite a popular one. And that provides basically JavaScript routines that you can copy and paste and put into your application. And it has things like, I don't know if you've ever seen the macOS fisheye control at the bottom. They've implemented that in JavaScript. It's only a small amount of JavaScript, but you can take that and use it. But the beauty of having the toolkits is that you can take that JavaScript and test it in all the browsers that you're targeting. But there is, I definitely agree with you, there is a problem. It's never going to be solved because one browser is always going to be better than another, there's going to be bugs.
Mostly it's about the deployed application. We don't know what the client has as a browser. And most of them, actually, in the real world, they are not really using the latest version of browser.
And that's,
so there is really an issue.
It's definitely a consideration you have to make. I mean, some basically we choose a level, and we make sure that all the applications run on that level, and as probably most companies do. And then as soon as we want to make sure we move to the newer browsers, we test all the applications again. But it's the other problem as well of using outdated browsers or expecting your clients to use outdated browser security. And as you know, keeping keeping software up to date now is becoming increasingly popular, and with NetBeans, with Creator, with Java Studio Enterprise, with all our tools, there's an automatic update function, including Solaris now, and it's purely for security, for your benefits, and so on. So, any other questions? 5 minutes? Taking the time.
Hi. My question deals with performance of Ajax and the security of the XML strings dealing with network elements and so on.
Yep. So, security of Ajax, yeah, it's a problem. If you need to, you can use XML over HTTPS. So that's the solution for security. You know, if you want to start sending passwords or whatever, you definitely don't want to use HTTPS. You might want to be using XML over HTTP. Was there another part to your question? Performance? Performance of Ajax. So, I guess the only thing to think about is you don't want too much data flying over your network. So, if you've got 50 applications that are sending, 60,000 asynchronous requests across the web, you kind of got to think about what you're doing. Only use it where you need to is probably the golden key. Is whenever you really need to use it for user experience. Don't overuse it. I think people think, oh, Ajax, cool, I'll make everything Ajax. And then you've got to remember that these network requests, which are XML over HTTP, so they're going to be pretty bulky compared to a normal request, so. Yeah. There was one other question. 2 other questions. Let's do quick.
How the shell framework relates to the Apache Cocoon web framework, which already includes the window JavaScript engine and many functionalities like facing integration.
What?
Apache Cocoon.
Cocoon?
Yes.
I don't know too much about Cocoon actually. The 2 web frameworks is, I should have had a diagram. The 2 web frameworks that are going to be under the Apache Struts project will be Struts Action and Struts Shell.
Well, there's more than that. There's Tapestry, Cocoon, there's a whole bunch of web frameworks.
Right.
Even just the Apache.
Yeah.
So they're all alternatives there.
Do you know much about Cocoon itself?
A little bit. But, so it kind of became a really full-blown presentation framework where it was more of a rendering engine at the beginning. But pretty much they have different approaches and they're solving pretty much the same problem. So I don't think there's much of a relationship between the 2, except that they're at Apache. Even Struts has maybe pretty much two versions with Shell and Struts Classic. And Tapestry is another one yet.
So a lot of them seem to be implementing their own small bugbears, all the things that they want to see achieved, they're kind of implemented as small things. Like you saw, you have tiles, you have clay, you have all these different framework type of pieces. But to me, the only 2 major frameworks is Struts and Struts Shell, which sits in the ASF. And I think they're the 2, I think you may see Cocoon features migrated into those type of larger frameworks might be cool. But I don't think that I don't know of any other. This is Craig McClanahan is leading the efforts there with Struts and with JSF. So. One last question.
I don't see any 3D component. Do you have planned to add them to Java Studio?
Yeah, there's Tribute. We have Tributes. Yeah, I can give the Tribute there. See that? Yeah. So all these components have been updated in version 2, so they're a lot better JSF components itself. So if you've used version 1, version 2 is even better. So, right, thanks Alex.